Hello, welcome to God's Junk Drawer. I'm Cody, this is Zoe, and today we're going to be replacing the power supply on a PlayStation 5. I know I've had a lot of tiny home videos recently. As I transition into winter here, you're going to see a lot of different projects from me. So hopefully it can keep your interest. Even if you don't like video games, maybe you just think it's cool to see stuff taken apart. First thing we're going to want to do is diagnose that we do indeed have a power supply issue. Power supply issue means when you press the power button, absolutely nothing happens. No lights, you don't hear the fan turning on, nothing. Another indicator could be while you were playing it, if it shuts off instantly and then no power lights. But if you smell like a burning smell, then that could be a motherboard problem. So for this, we're talking, yep, no lights, nothing, it doesn't do anything. That's probably likely your power supply. We're going to want to check all the super easy stuff first, like our power cord, to make sure we swap this out. In my instances, power cords don't typically fail, but we want to check the easy stuff first. It's kind of this figure 8 plug. You might have one with your laptop brick, and this is one side of that. So check your cord first. And then of course too, another dummy, just check in a different outlet. That could be it. All those type of things, check the super obvious first. But if you're here, I'm guessing you've done that and you're ready to install your power supply. I have everything laid out here that we're going to need to put in our new power supply into our PS5. This is the power cord we are putting in. Then we have a Torx head, a very small Torx head, a small Phillips, and tweezers. Those are the only 3 tools we'll need. And our power supply. And looks like it has the chip, that part that goes into the board there. Let's open this PlayStation 5. The first thing we're going to want to do is locate our PS5 logo. And on this we're going to pull up and away. Comes off pretty nice and easy. And then we're going to have 2 Torx screws on the top here, I think. Let's see, 1, 2. Now you've taken 2 Torx screws off on this side, right here. You're going to flip this over, and I find it easier to kind of keep track of where that PS5 logo was, right? That PS5 logo was right here. So when I flip over, it's going to be on that same corner. So the same deal, I'm going to grab this, pull up and towards me. And same thing on this side. We have a couple Torx screws. These are different screws, so make sure you're keeping track. There are also small arrows to indicate where all these screws are that we're taking out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 on this side. If you're missing 1 screw on this side, we do have a warranty sticker over this one, so you might not be seeing it, but there's an arrow next to it as well. Next, we're going to remove the metal plate. For this, we will be switching to our small Phillips. This is our SSD drive. For this part, we just want to be pulling straight up. Once we get this piece off, once we get this plate off, we're going to have 1, 2, 3 more screws. And we're going back to our Torx. Now we'll remove the fan here, small screwdriver or bottle opener. Here we're going to use our tweezers. Now we can remove our fan. We'll clean this before we put it back in. Once we have our fan out and all of these out, everything should pull up. So if it's not pulling up at this point, you missed some screws, like I have 2 on the bottom here. These two small cables pull right up off. And one more ribbon up here. All of our 1, 2 tiny things that can get broken have all been removed now. We started on our other side, so everything should be loose right now. If it isn't pulling up, then you forgot your 2 screws on this side with the PS5 logo. I'm having a little bit of difficulty getting this last ribbon out, so I'm just going to be careful moving this for this fat section here. And then the power supply is in here. So we're going to go back so I can set aside this board. Now we've actually gotten down to where our power supply is. Looks like this power supply calls for a regular old screwdriver. A tiny one didn't really have enough power. So it's our old power supply. Looks like we need those cables. On our old power supply, there is one piece that we're going to need, this antenna. One plastic tab here, and then this thing kind of just pulls on off. So that should be all we need from our old power supply there. And then this bottom slides in and then clips to the top. Nice and easy there. Our power supply will just sit in place, and all the screws and everything will end up being coming in through the motherboard. Going to want to be careful to have these wires on top before we get the board in place. Very careful for this part. Everything should just kind of slide together a little bit. You shouldn't have to force anything, especially with this bottom corner down here. And then we need to attach everything back to the board. It's our blue wire. It is labeled nice and simple. B for blue, W for white. So check your board. Be very careful, because you are dealing with the motherboard here. They should go on nice and easy. Then we have this ribbon down here. Slides in, there's a black line. Then this ribbon as well. Into where that black line is. I'm going to put back in all my motherboard screws here. I didn't actually end up needing to take them out because I was having difficulty with this, So I think you're probably going to have an easier time just to be very careful when you take this part out and then not deal with all these motherboard screws. There's different versions where just this SD plate is separate. So if you have an older PlayStation 5 maybe, then this plate will come off by itself. But for me, it was the entire plate as one. So it's easier just to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and put all these screws back in that I took out for no reason. When you put your motherboard screws back in place, there's going to be some empties, of course, for the lid to go on. So if you get confused about what goes where, you can put the lid on top and say, oh, there's one screw here, empty hole, corner, 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 right? So if you get kind of lost on your screws, use your lid as a template. Once we confirm we have our motherboard set, we're going to put our plastic back on. So our double check is going to be, we have a small ribbon at the top. We have our blue cable, our white cable. We have a small ribbon on this side, and then this large ribbon right here. So all of those should be attached. And now we can clip this guy back on. Before we do any screws, we're gonna check this plastic piece, especially at the bottom here, to make sure this is in place where our power button is. Looks like everything is secure and good on here. Now that our case is nice and secure, we can put our fan back in. Make sure when you do your fan, you have your cable down on this side. And your cable just plugs right back into there. Tuck it in nicely. And put this little sticker back on there, I guess. Will that stay? Just to keep that cord a little safe. The fan plate only goes on one direction. You'll see here has a little cover for this wire. So that wire cover will go down on this edge. Again, it will only fit one way. Put this little plastic piece back in place. It has two clips on either side, so you can kind of get both of those in place, and then it just pushes in. Nice and easy on that one. When you replace the plastic panels here, they have these hooks. They all face up towards the fan. You kind of start it at the bottom, it'll sit in place, and then just push up and click. We've got our PlayStation put back together. We should have no leftover screws. Panels secure. Got our power plug plugged back in. And now we are just checking to make sure our power supply works. Give it just a moment. There we have lights. Blue, beautiful lights. We have a PlayStation. Blessing break! This last week was Thanksgiving. There were a lot of ups and downs of whether it was going to be a good one or a real dull one. It started out the week, it was going to be just my parents and my mom's mom, so real low-key but nice. Then we found out my sister was going to come in town with her boys, so oh, that's exciting. Now it's a Thanksgiving. Then the weather report came in, and it was looking like snow, and Emily's going to be trapped in South Dakota. Then she found a window of opportunity to make it out here. So that was wonderful that she was able to join us with her boys. And Thanksgiving morning, I go to start my car and dead battery. So thankfully, I have an awesome dad. He came, picked me up, spent the night at the parents', and had a wonderful Thanksgiving. So thank you, God. Checked everything out, and the PlayStation is up and running smoothly, so exciting to have a gaming system again. Over the winter here, you're going to see a lot of variety of my project videos, and as long as we're on the topic of video games, one of the things I've been working on over the last year is creating my own video game about husbandry, animal care, and farming. So you'll definitely see some videos at some point as that project picks up a lot for me in the winter. So thanks for watching. See you on the next one.